Timeless reading for Pisces, starting with the card The Dungeon, followed by Rose, Book, Scales, Mirror, and Moon. I've been looking at your cards for a few minutes and they were quite confusing to me because I felt so many mixed emotions. Maybe you feel mixed emotions. Then I also, on top of my mixed emotion, I felt like my mind is confused by the different pictures here, and it logically couldn't be put into some kind of logical or harmonious puzzle. But now I feel like this is also a nice task for me here to neither follow my emotions nor my thoughts, but my plain spiritual intuition. Sometimes we might think that our emotions are our intuition, but they are not. Our emotions can be very, very misguiding. And the moment I realized just a few seconds or minutes ago that I'm supposed to really block my mind away now and my emotions, I realized that at the end of your reading you have the moon card, and in my deck the moon is representing very strongly intuition. So this might be a topic for you. But let me start with the first row. This is what I immediately realized as soon as I stopped thinking about the images and stopped to follow my emotions. Someone will soon receive justice. Someone does not necessarily have to go to prison, but the dungeon could represent some kind of restriction. This could be a person, and when I say this person will receive justice, I do not mean that this is a very nice person who will receive something nice. This is a person who got away with a lot. Someone who is very bold in a negative way, very disrespectful. And I feel it like it's a very old situation for you somehow, even though this rose is shiny and red and it looks like it's just blossoming. The way I look at it today, right now, is like it's molding, it's aging. And I feel like the way I drew these lines up here, I wanted to demonstrate the nice, not flavor, the nice scent of the rose. But here it looks like something is stinking, something is dying, something is so old. Like this situation is so old, it's such an old tale. Like it is looping and looping, and it felt like it would never end. Also, this book looks very old to me right now. Like something is so repetitive and long enduring that someone could have already written a book about it. You could be writing a diary. And looking back into your old diaries, maybe you might realize, oh my God, for 5 years I've been writing 2 or 3 sentences every day, the same sentences about this situation or a certain person, and it never changes, no matter how hard I try to change, no matter how hard I try to get out of the situation, there is someone around you who is never ever changing, or they are changing, but not inside of their core. Their core is rotten, and the older they get, the worse they are behaving on the outside. Instead of maturing or getting wiser, this person is just becoming worse. This situation is extremely old. And because we have these kind of, it looks a little bit legal and official. We have a dungeon, we have the scales, and we have this book here. And like someone you might not even be aware of that, but maybe someone made a long list about this person. Maybe someone was watching this person for a long time. Maybe you thought you were alone in this situation. You were the only one suffering from this person, but there is someone else. Someone else has been looking at this person closely, maybe also for several years, and they made a lot of notes, which will be used later against this person when this person expects it the least. There is justice here for you coming in as well. There is something about your self-image. And to be honest, the first time I looked at it, I felt extremely triggered. Even though I'm not a Pisces, there's always something in the reading for me as well, in each sign, where I'm learning something from. And I do not upload a lot of readings, just sometimes. And sometimes it takes 2 months and I look back and suddenly I remember I walk around outside, I go to my work, and suddenly I realize I'm experiencing something that I was talking about in a reading 2 months ago. And it's not even my zodiac sign. And then I realized, all the readings are always a teaching for me as well here. And I felt horribly triggered looking into the mirror, in quotes, mirror. Because it's a drawn mirror. When I look at it, I cannot see my image. But maybe this is something here for you as well. Maybe you hate to look into the mirror. Maybe you avoid looking into the mirror. When you go to your bathroom sink to wash your hands, most people, they do have a little mirror above their bathroom place. And maybe you avoid looking into that while you are washing your hands. Like maybe you only look into the mirror before you leave the house to see if you have something on your face, or to just check everything. And it does not have to be because you don't like the way your face or your body looks. Sometimes we just hate to look into the mirror because there's something inside of us that we don't like to see. That's more what I feel like. I feel like it's not necessarily about some kind of how your nose is shaped, or if you have wrinkles or pimples or whatever. This is not about it. This is about like feeling you are looking at something terrible when you look into your own eyes in the mirror. Oh, I'm just thinking of some kind of anecdote. I don't know. I don't want to bore you. But speaking of this whole mirror thing, I'm remembering something that I just experienced. I think it was yesterday. It was very interesting. But I want to go further with your reading here. I need to take some seconds because I'm not quite sure how this is related to the previous situation. There could be an improvement or healing from this pain of looking into the mirror as soon as you and this person receive justice. There could also be several people involved here. This person does not have to be a brutal murderer or child molester, like all the worst things. I mean, this could be the case. I hope you're not in this kind of situation. It could also just be some kind of small criminal or just, someone who's very irresponsible and annoying and who is making life hard for other people by being very selfish and disrespectful. And as I said, it does not have to mean that this person has to go to prison. So this prison could just represent that there is a restriction for this person. This person cannot keep on living the way they have been living, and they cannot be so selfish anymore. It could also be that this dungeon just represents that something will be legally withheld from this person as a punishment. So either the person could be behind the bars and locked away, metaphorically or literally, or they could be in front of the bars wanting something that is locked away from them, but they can't reach towards it anymore. They can stare at it, but they won't have it anymore ever again. And as soon as this is solved, as soon as this old tale is not fading out, but it's suddenly cut off, for some of you it could mean that you will realize looking into the mirror is much easier now. Literally looking into the mirror, looking at your own facial expression, at your own eyes, at your face. For some of you, it's like looking at the mirror inside of yourself. This might be a spiritual understanding that brings relief. Like maybe you will realize you have mirrored something the wrong way, like your inner spiritual mirror is twisted, distorted, that maybe, I mean in a sense that you blamed yourself secretly for someone's irresponsibility, for someone's behavior, and you secretly thought that maybe you deserve this kind of annoyance or injustice or burden around you by this person because it has been going on for so long. You thought maybe this is your karma or something, and like if you were aware of it or if it was just something that kept on running subconsciously in your mind and emotions, that you on some level thought you deserved all this. And you will find that out, that kind of mirroring, that this is something that is completely unhealed within you, blaming yourself for things that are not your fault. I feel like there's an importance to these two cards together here as well, but that's the thing. I feel like there is an importance, but I don't see what it is about. That's what I said. Like your entire reading keeps on being a little bit confusing to me here. Maybe you can already sense something. Maybe you can already interpret something here that I can see right now. Oh, you know what? Because I said in the beginning that the moon card represents intuition, and for me your reading was also some kind of learning here or realization. Yes, this is what it is, what it means. I am not supposed to tell you what it means. You have to use your own intuition right now. Not your mind, not your emotion, your spiritual intuition. Why these two cards are so important to one another in this specific reading. I can only tell you they are. There is a huge significance here. having these two cards next to one another. But I'm not supposed to? What? This is where you have to interpret the part of this reading for yourself. The mirror and the moon and the stars. And yourself, probably, maybe holding the mirror, looking at it, or not, I don't know. Maybe something here. At the bottom of the deck there's a lute. Maybe that means something to someone. And I feel like I should just stop interpreting this reading for you. You can take some time or pause the video, keep looking at the cards and use your own intuition. And yeah, I think maybe I will just share this anecdote. So if you are not interested in that, you can just cling out, pause the video, keep thinking about your own interpretation here. And for those of you who are interested, you can still listen. So yesterday I went to work and it was very warm and sunny outside, like a very nice late summer day. And I went to work very early and had a lot of spare time. So I walked through a park, a very nice park that is on my way to work. And there's a huge oh my god, I forgot the English word. I know that I once knew this kind of word. Not a bird cage, but when it's a really big space for birds. Oh my god. Maybe I will remember, or maybe you already know what I mean. I never really counted the birds. There are some parakeets, some cockatiels, some other kind of smaller parrots. And there's also one bigger bird. I also don't know the English word for this kind of bird, but it's like 20 times bigger than the parakeets. And there's only one of this bird. And it has very short wings. It cannot really fly, like it can only fly up a few centimeters. And it has a very nice aura. It has very nice eyes, this bird. And I always feel a little bit sorry because this bird has no one of its own kind. Like it's not alone. There are a lot of other birds. And this really big bird is very nice toward the other smaller birds. It's not dangerous to them. And I feel like it feels comfortable in this space where it lives. But I also feel like maybe, yeah, it's a little bit lonely because bird is not a bird. There are different bird races or species, and they have different languages, different body languages. They make different sounds, and they are just so different. So it cannot properly communicate and interact with one of its own kind. And somehow I was looking at this bird, and there's another kind of bird in this huge cage that is also the only one of this kind. I also forgot the English word. It's a very small kind of bird. Like they are literally this kind of small and grayish with some black stripes. And it's also a very common bird that people keep as pets, but it's not a parakeet. And I thought like this other smaller bird and the very big bird who lives at the bottom at the cage, they both are alone. And the big bird on the bottom of the cage, it came toward me. It was very curious and interested, and yeah, I gave him some attention, and yeah, he was not a very scared bird. So it was nice to have a connection to this bird. And then I thought, like, maybe I should show him some of his own kind, because he does not see himself. Birds have no mirrors. I mean, some pet birds have mirrors, but it's actually not very good for parakeets to have a mirror in the cage. Yeah, or I don't know. And it only sees the other birds. It sees none of his own species. So I had an idea, and I pulled out my phone and switched into, when you switch the camera around, not the way I have it right now, but when you switch it into selfie mode, so you can see yourself on your screen when you're looking at your phone screen. And I turn it around to the bird, so that the bird can look at himself. And yeah, he looked at himself in my selfie camera, so he can also see himself moving in all of this, and he hated it. Like, and then I felt very sorry, and I felt a little bit stupid, because it made him feel very, more than uncomfortable and a little bit scared. Like, it wasn't shocked running away, but it slowly moved away, and I could see that it did not feel good to this bird to look at himself. So yeah, I then put my phone back, and on one hand I felt sorry, and I thought maybe it was a stupid idea, and on the other hand I also was laughing a little bit inside of myself, because this bird reminded me of myself. Like, sometimes you just look into your phone camera or into the mirror, and then you think, like, why did I do that? I really don't want to look at myself. And now or especially if you have a really bad lighting or something like that, and then you see yourself from a very terrible angle, or sometimes it happens, you're holding your phone maybe on the height of your belly or chest, and you suddenly involuntarily switch into selfie mode, and then you see yourself from below, like with a really big chin and all of that, and you can look into the holes of your nose, and it looks really terrible. And then somehow the whole day you think about how terrible you looked in the mirror or in your phone, or I don't know, sometimes we have just really bad days, or if it's not about superficial things, because I don't think that the bird thought of it as something superficial. Oh, my beak looks so big. Or, oh my God, the colors in my face don't look nice. I don't think that this was what the bird didn't like. It's just sometimes we don't like looking at our own facial expression, or that something is coming out of our eyes. Sometimes I feel like you look into the mirror and you can see your eyes judging you. I do not mean your mind judging you, like, oh my God, my pores are too big, or oh my God, I'm getting old, or my hair is falling out, or my beard is not manly enough. I don't know what people think. That's not what I mean. You just look into your face and you feel like someone is sitting inside of your eyes, judging you, your personality, or the mistakes that you made in your life. So yeah, I feel like the spirit just didn't like to look at his own soul. Yeah, that's the anecdote I wanted. I just was thinking of that when I was doing your reading here, and talking about the mirror, and how sometimes we really hate looking into the mirror, not because of superficial things. We just don't want to look at our deeper core or soul or whatever. Yeah, but maybe that is your task now. Maybe after you are through with this mundane situation, which is emotionally and mentally exhausting you, maybe after all of this is done, you will have some kind of spiritual realization or awakening. I'm going to leave it here. Thank you for watching.